Welcome to the Great Mechanical Pencils YouTube channel. Today we're exploring the rOtring 600, a mechanical pencil that's earned its stripes as a legend in the world of precision writing tools. Known for its rock-solid build, sleek design, and its iconic hexagonal barrel, this pencil has been a go-to for artists, engineers, and pencil collectors alike for over 3 decades. Stick around until the end of the video because we'll be reviewing all 8 generations of this legendary pencil, spanning every year since its debut in 1987. We're going to dive into the entire rOtring 600 product line, focusing mostly on mechanical pencils, but we'll also be giving a shout out to the highly collectible rollerball pens, fountain pens, and multi-pens that were in the rOtring 600 product line. Plus, I'll be demonstrating each generation from 1 to the current, which is 8, right here on camera with detailed tips to help you identify when your pencil was manufactured. I'd like to begin by expressing my gratitude to Dux from the rOtring Museum, and especially Bjorn, a dedicated rOtring super collector. He has generously shared images from his collection with the museum, and together they have created the ultimate collector's guide to the rOtring 600 mechanical pencils, which is available online at the rOtring Museum. I'll put a link in the description. Their extensive work has served as the foundation for this timeline that we're about to unfold, and they have kindly allowed me to include images of items that are absent from my own collection to complete this video. So a huge thank you to them for making this project possible. If you're a fan of rOtring products, I highly recommend you visit the rOtring Museum. It's the most thorough resource of rOtring pens and pencils I've come across. Links are in the description, so be sure to check it out. To trace the history of the rOtring 600, you have to go back to 1984 and the release of the Koh-I-Noor Model 5635. Koh-I-Noor USA was owned by rOtring at that time, and it just so happened that rOtring was looking for the next generation of drafting pencils, so moving this pencil to the rOtring line made a lot of sense. The 5635 is very similar looking to the 600, except the 5635 has a plastic body. Speaking of a plastic body, around a year later, the rOtring 500 is released. The Koh-I-Noor 5635 and the rOtring 500 are almost identical. Also, in 1985, Koh-I-Noor released the 5640 Rapid-O-Matic in .5mm. This all-metal pencil is almost identical to the rOtring 600 series and can be considered Generation 0. And that brings us to 1987 and the release of the rOtring 600. This was the all-metal version of the 500, and it was almost identical to the 5640 Rapid-O-Matic. It initially came in black and silver, and only in .5mm. As the time passed, the available sizes and colors have changed, so I'll do my best to cover these updates. Some people are not aware of this, but the rOtring 600 was discontinued in 2004. We'll get back to this shortly. By 1990, the size range had expanded to include .3, .7, and .9 in both black and silver. 1990 also saw the release of the rOtring 600 Ballpoint Pen. This highly collectible writing instrument is known for its minimalist industrial design and precision engineering. It features a hexagonal brass body giving it a solid weighted feel. There's a knurled ring at the end of the pen, similar to a lid hardness indicator. You turn the ring to show the color of the ink refill that is loaded. This is a very cool feature that you rarely see today. So these were all the rOtring 600 ballpoints that were available until 2004, when sadly they were discontinued along with the pencil line. We'll get to more on that later. 1990 also saw the release of the rOtring 600 fountain pen. The rOtring 600 fountain pen is a standout in the iconic 600 series. The fountain pen blends precision engineering with a timeless design, captivating collectors and writers alike. Introduced as a complement to its mechanical pencil counterpart, it boasts a streamlined hexagonal metal body and a smooth, dependable nib for seamless writing. It had a removable cap and came in black and silver and 8 different sized nibs to choose from. The fountain pen was discontinued in 1999. Its minimalist aesthetic and balanced weight make it a prized piece in any rOtring completist collection. The rOtring 600 Rollerball was also sold from 1990 through 1999. A ballpoint pen uses thick, oil-based ink that dries quickly and writes smoothly via a rolling ball at the tip, ideal for everyday writing, whereas a rollerball pen uses thinner, water-based ink that flows freely, offering a smoother, inkier line. similar to a fountain pen, but with less durability on some surfaces. In this case, the rOtring 600 ballpoint is great for quick notes, while the rOtring Rollerball provides a bolder, more vibrant line for expressive writing. The multi-pen version of the rOtring 600 was initially called the Trio Pen. It was sold from 1990 until 1999. These contain red and blue pens and a pencil in either 0.5 or 0.7 millimeter, depending on the generation. You rotate the knurled ring to select which one of the three to use, and the fourth setting is everything retracted, making it somewhat pocket safe. I will demonstrate this shortly when we get to the current multi-pen, the 3-in-1. In 1992, rOtring released the gold version of the rOtring 600. The tip of this pencil could be retracted by turning the knurled knob on the end. This pencil becomes what is now known as the rOtring 800. The tip and the ring on the gold models are plated in 23 karat gold. I've always wondered if the gold on the rOtring 800 is a nod to the original 600 gold series. Anyway, this pencil was discontinued in 1997. The combination of the short production run and its relation to the rOtring 800 make the 600 gold highly sought after by collectors. Here's a quick video comparing the 600 gold to the 800 and 800 plus. Also sold in this period was the rOtring 600 gold fountain pen, as well as the gold ballpoint and rollerball pen. The rOtring 600 gold fountain pen is a coveted collector's item, often fetching hundreds of dollars if you can find them. They came in black and silver, with different nib sizes to choose from. The rOtring 600 gold ballpoint had the tip and ring coated in 23 karat gold, and a coated ring to let you know what color ink was loaded. And last, the rOtring 600 gold rollerball came in black and silver, and also featured a color-coded ring to let you know what color ink was loaded. These legendary 600 gold pencils and pens are quite rare, but certainly the crown jewel is the gold prototype pencil. This is from Bjorn's private collection. Not to be confused with the gold series, this is an extremely rare prototype, and is probably the rarest item shown on this video. During the 1990s, rOtring produced a series of pens and pencils under the rOtring 600 line, which were co-branded with Levenger's name and sold through the Levenger catalog in stores, primarily in the U.S. These instruments, including fountain pens, rollerballs, ballpoints, and mechanical pencils, were made to Levenger's specifications, often in Japan. In 1998, an American company named Sanford purchased rOtring. Sanford is a division of Newell Rubbermaid and has popular brands like Barrel, Papermate, Parker Pens, Waterman, and the Sharpie Marker series. Soon after this, the rOtring 600 fountain pen was discontinued and replaced by the Newton series. It seems likely that the rOtring 600 fountain pen was discontinued in 1999 as part of corporate strategy changes following Sanford's acquisition of rOtring in 1998. So it was the Newton series, introduced in the mid-1990s, that was positioned as a replacement of the 600 by around 1999. This shift aligns with Sanford's potential strategy to consolidate product lines, and in 2004, Sanford killed off the rOtring 600 in favor for the Newton. So from 2004, we have an 8-year gap with no rOtring 600, but in 2012, the rOtring 600 is re-released. I found this image on the Internet Archive from 2012. This new re-released version initially came in black and silver in 0.5 and 0.7 millimeter. Coming up, we're going to look at the generations of the rOtring 600 and track the manufacturing changes that have been identified. This version, as we will see in just a minute, is in the 8th and current generation. And also, when we cover the 8th generation, I'll go over all the colors that are currently available. In 2018, rOtring released the 600 ballpoint pen in silver and black. This is how to replace the refills. Originally only in silver and black, now this pen comes in 10 colors. Unfortunately, the new version does not have the knurled ring to show the color of the refill that is loaded. I think this was a missed opportunity on rOtring's part. Around 2020, rOtring reintroduced the 600 version of the multi-pen as the 3-in-1. The 3-in-1 comes in black and red pens and in 0.5 millimeter. Here's a quick demonstration on how to select the different colors and how to refill the ballpoint pen and pencil. There's no eraser on this pencil, and the tip doesn't unscrew. To take it apart, you have to pull it from the end. This uses the D1 style ballpoint pen refills. It's hard to see on video, but the rOtring refill has a small band at the tip to tell you what color you have selected. Refilling the lid on this pencil can be a bit tedious, and to be honest, because of that, I don't use this pencil a lot. rOtring also sells a D1 Data Stylus refill. I've been told it works in the 3-in-1. And like the ballpoint pen, initially released in black and silver, you can now get the 3-in-1 in many different color options. So this concludes the timeline review, and I wanted to thank everyone still watching after that deep dive. Now we're going to explore the manufacturing changes to the rOtring 600 pencil since its 1987 release. The first generation pencils were sold from 1987 to 1989. They had a plastic lead tube and an external spring. The most noticeable feature on the first generation pencils is the very thin red ring, and this is just about the best way to identify one. There is a slot in the eraser cap, but no slot in the middle eraser band. And the eraser cap is stamped 0.5, but the number is not clear. rOtring is stamped on the pocket clip, and rOtring 600 0.5 millimeter is on the body. I remember seeing some posts asking about the comma. In many countries like Germany, a comma is used as a decimal separator, so 0.5 millimeter is the same as 0.5 millimeter in places like the US, where a period is standard. The second generation of 600s were sold in 1989. It came in black and silver and 0.5 millimeter. The most noticeable change was a thicker red ring. The second generation had larger print on the body. They had a plastic lead tube and an external spring. There is a slot in the eraser cap, but no slot in the middle eraser band. The eraser cap is stamped 0.5, but that number is not very clear. As you can see on my second generation, it looks like it says 0.6. It says rOtring on the pocket clip and rOtring 600 0.5 millimeter on the body. Like most rOtring pencils, this came with a 3-jaw brass chuck. And here's another look at the eraser cap. I'm showing you these up close because later on they're used to help identify different generational changes. The third generation of the 600 was sold in 1990. It came in black and silver, but was now available in 0.3, 5, 7, and 0.9 millimeter. rOtring now offered an advertising option, allowing companies to have private labeling or an option to have no text at all. It features a plastic lead tube and a middle spring. On mine, the spring is more of a brass color now. There's a slot in the eraser cap, but no slot in the middle eraser band. And the eraser cap is stamped. The numbers are not clear, but they are looking a lot better. The text on the body is now smaller than on previous versions. Here are two of my pencils. But since they are different size, here's a better example from the rOtring Museum. Here you can clearly see the text is quite a bit smaller. It says rOtring on the pocket clip. On the barrel, it says rOtring 600 and the size, and then it could possibly have some custom advertising or without any text at all on the body. It's important to note that only the 0.5 and 0.7 millimeter sizes were available with the custom advertising or without print on the body. Like all the rOtring 600s, this has a 3-jaw brass chuck. And here's another look at the eraser cap. The fourth generation of 600 mechanical pencil was sold from 1990 to 1994. The 1992 and 1993 rOtring of Japan catalog does not have the 0.9 millimeter listed. The fourth generation is very similar to the third, but with a few small changes. And those are mostly changes in the cap. It is now embossed with a clear number on the top, and from this version on, there is no more slot in the cap anymore. There's now a slot in the eraser holder, and this was added to prevent a vacuum. The fourth generation pencils had rOtring on the pocket clip, and on the barrel it says rOtring 600 and then the size, or it could possibly have some custom advertising or without any text at all. It's important to note that only the 0.5 and 0.7 millimeter sizes were available with custom advertising or without print on the body. And here's a close-up of that slot in the eraser holder that is new to this generation. And the 3-jaw brass chuck. And also notice that the chuck and spring mechanism are external. In the next version, this is about to be encapsulated in plastic. And the other generational change here is there is no slot in the cap and the number is stamped where you can read it. The fifth generation of rOtring 600 mechanical pencil was sold from 1994 to 1999. There are some very obvious changes in this version. The most noticeable ones take place inside the pencil. The external spring and brass chuck is now encapsulated in a plastic assembly. This configuration is still in use today. This new plastic piece threads into the grip, and then that threads it to the body. I'm going to demonstrate that for you quickly because it changes the way that you take the pencil apart. Up through generation 4, the grip holds everything in place. Just unscrew the grip and everything else slides out. In generation 5 through 8, when you unscrew the grip, the internal mechanism and lead tube normally comes out with the grip. Then you have to unscrew that from the grip to fully break the pencil down. Sometimes, with really bad lid jams, you need to go to this extreme. And I wanted to also mention that the new parts are not backwards compatible with the older versions. By 1996, you could get the rOtring 600 in 0.35, 0.5, 0.7, and 1 millimeter in both black and silver. This version has an aluminum screw thread glued into the body. It says rOtring on the pocket clip and rOtring 600 and then the size on the body. Thanks to their strong business-to-business sales with the third generation and high demand for pencils with printed company logos, all diameters are now offered with custom text or logos or without any printing at all. Here's a quick look at the eraser holder and the encapsulated clutch and spring assembly, and a quick comparison to the old version. And to wrap up, a quick look at the eraser cap. As you can see, there's no slot in it anymore, and nice clean stamping with the size. And to wrap up, Bjorn's ultra rare brass prototype is also a 5th generation pencil. The 6th generation of rOtring 600 mechanical pencil was sold from 1999 until 2001. It was available in 0.35, 0.5, 0.7, and 1 millimeter in black and silver. This version only has the lid size marked on the body. But to add some confusion, it was also offered with customizable advertising, like your company name or logo. This version features an aluminum screw thread glued into the body. rOtring is on the pocket clip, and normally on this version, only the size is printed on the body. However, all sizes of this generation were also sold with custom advertising printed on the body. It has a plastic lead tube and plastic encasing the clutch and spring mechanism. The Levenger series that were sold in the US markets also seemed to be from the sixth generation. However, they were only sold in .5, 7, and 1 millimeter. There's no slot on the eraser cap, and it is embossed with a clear number on the top. And although Generation 6 ended in 2001, it looks likely that the .7 millimeter version without print was sold until 2004. The seventh generation of the rOtring 600 mechanical pencil was sold from 2002 until 2004. This is the last version until its resurrection in 2012 with the eighth and current generation. The most noticeable thing about Generation 7 is the complete lack of text on the body, not even the lid size. As far as I can tell, all sizes continued to be available until at least 2003. As the last few before it, this one also has an aluminum screw thread glued into the body. It says rOtring on the pocket clip, and there is no text on the pencil body, not even the size. It has a plastic lead tube and plastic encasing the clutch and spring mechanism. And like the last few before it, there's no slot in the eraser cap, and the size is stamped on there very clearly. So in 2004 it was canceled, and then next is our 8-year gap, where rOtring has lines like the Newton, Core, Esprit, and Tiki. And then in 2012, the rOtring 600 is re-released. And with that, the 8th generation started as the active product line. Here's an image I found on the Internet Archive from 2012. On its return, it was available in black and silver in both .5 and .7 millimeter. It looks like until around 2019, these are the only sizes and colors available. The most noticeable change from Generation 7 to 8, again, is inside the pencil. rOtring has now added a metal sleeve, and this is the best way to identify a Generation 8 pencil because it's the only one that has this type of lid sleeve. We'll get back to why they made this change at the end of the video, so please stick around. But I'll give you a hint. It's related to a lot of the quality complaints they've had lately, specifically with cracking. This still appears to have a metallic screw thread glued into the body. It has rOtring on the pocket clip and rOtring 600 and the size on the body. It has a metal lid tube, but the plastic encasing the clutch and spring mechanism looks to be similar. Here's a comparison between Generation 7 and 8. I just realized that I failed to talk about erasers up until now. On Generation 1 through 7, they all came with a lid jam clearing rod. But to meet EU standards, the lid jam clearing rod has been removed, and now there is a hole in the eraser cap. In 2020, they introduced the first new colors. Now, in addition to black and silver, you can get madder red, camouflage green, and iron blue in both .5 and .7 millimeter. 2021 saw the addition of .35 and 2 millimeter to the black and silver line. Also in 2021, gold, rose gold, and pearl white was released. Also around 2021, Loft and rOtring collaborated on a limited edition yellow. In 2022, the Nomble Ice Mint and Midnight Blue came out. In 2023, Atoya released a white and black and a black and white complementary pair. Yellow was re-released around 2024. In early 2025, Chocolate Truffle was released in .5 millimeter. And also in 2025, Dark Stone was released in .5 millimeter. And that wraps up the generation changes. I know this was a lot longer than most pencil videos, and we're almost done. But first I wanted to thank you for watching. And if you're not a subscriber, please click the subscribe button. It helps the channel a lot and lets me know to keep making in-depth material like this. I'm going to close this video with a known issue with the rOtring 600, especially the newer Generation 8 models, and that is cracking in the barrel. While the rOtring 600 is celebrated for its precision and durability, several users have reported cracks appearing in the mechanical pencils. These cracks can show up even in brand new pencils, sometimes just weeks after purchase, and they often worsen over time. This is not a universal problem, but it's significant enough for collectors and buyers that they should be aware. I noticed in my research that between Generation 7 and 8, the barrel becomes lighter and the internal mechanism becomes heavier. This is obviously due to the addition of the metal sleeve. However, this makes me question what has changed to make the barrel lighter. For the most part, the physical characteristics have remained identical throughout the generations. The older catalogs previously specified brass for the barrel material, but now they simply refer to it as metallic. So perhaps the weight change is due to a metallic alloy, or more likely, thinner walls. And I'm just speculating here, but another potential problem could be the threaded tube that is glued in. Maybe they insert it with too much pressure, or perhaps the adhesive they're using expands in certain environmental conditions. Anyway, without further destructive testing, it's going to be hard to know for sure what's going on. And here's where you come in. If you have a cracked rOtring 600, please leave a comment. Let me know what generation it is and the color. And also, is it a daily user or just a showpiece? It's clear the rOtring 600 is a legend for its precision and durability, but it's not flawless, and that's part of its story. I want to send a huge thank you for watching this deep dive into the rOtring 600. It's been a blast putting this together, and I couldn't have done it without the amazing work from Bjorn and Dux at the rOtring Museum, and a lot of help from the members at the Knocology Mechanical Pencil Forum. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the thumbs up button and subscribe for more vintage pencil breakdowns and stationery goodness. See you in the next one. Happy collecting.